Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Silent breed is people! One morning, I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
E.T. Phone Home.
It's the Al Travis Show, and you kind of get humbled in the programming. You find out exactly where you stand. Our next guest was going to be on last week at this time, but, had to fly out and do some congressional hearing thing and had to back out, So I guess I'm at least one step below congressional hearing time. Representative Hudson, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for not having anything big going on.
Hey, my pleasure.
So speaking of congressional hearings, and I want to talk about all the ins and outs of it, the backside stuff, because I got to watch it. Fantastic, very interesting. How much did you and the other two representatives need to split the $432,000 in lawyer training that Walz got to do the same thing, or did you each get $432,000 to have lawyers train you how to go to Congress? Which was it?
Well, I can dutifully report that the amount of money spent on lawyers, both taxpayer and private, was precisely zero. And the reason we were able to do that is because when you're just telling the truth and have nothing to fear in terms of repercussions, because everything you're saying is backed up by documented facts, all you really need to do is a few Google searches and iron your suit. That was the totality of my preparation for testifying before Congress.
And backing out of the Al Travis Show, but that was like 15th on the list. That's okay. I'm not being bitter. Between all three of you, congratulations all. I think the three of you did very well. I don't know who the fourth guy was, didn't get much airtime, but I thought you all did remarkably well. I'm going to put out, and this is just kissing up to you because sometimes you come on the show a lot. You crushed it. There are a couple times, and this happens in all these congressional years, why no one watches them, because 5 minutes somebody asks a question, and the next 5 minutes are just some random go off on hinder deal, and you didn't let them do it. They were trying to box you in a couple times. You got in shouting matches. Give me Walter Hudson's mindset when he's being peppered with a weird question, and and you go off on a congressman on television nationwide. What's going through your head?
Well, the primary thing that's going through my head is these people are my servants, and they owe me respect, and they owe my constituents respect, and they owe the American people respect. And if they're not going to show that, then I'm not going to cooperate with the process. I don't care what the rules of Congress are. Arrest me, right? Wow. My red line was, when you start putting words in my mouth and using your time as an elected congressperson to disparage my character, you're done. I'm going to take up your time. I'm going to talk over you. I'm going to shout you down. I'm going to make my point. Your time's now my time. Like, this is a conditional relationship. You either act in good faith, like you can have whatever opinion you want. You can go off in some irrelevant screed about the Trump Kennedy Center, like one of them did. Yeah. Like, you can do whatever you want. But as soon as you abuse your position to lie, we're done.
Fair enough. When you look back at it, and I presume you did, I'm nuts, but at least your family said, "Hey, Dad, when you did the thing." How do you think it went? Did you get your points? I guess I listened to you the whole day, listened to all of it, and I didn't learn anything new. But did the world do it? What do you think happened with your testimony?
Well, listen, I think that there are a lot of people who learned stuff that weren't previously aware of it. Okay. And I said this beforehand, that we're not going to there's not going to be breaking news coming out of the House Oversight Committee for anybody who's been paying attention for more than 5 minutes. I mean, this stuff is all well documented. Yeah. But what I was very disappointed by was the fact, and it is a fact, that not a single Democrat member of the House Oversight Committee exhibited any curiosity whatsoever. They did not ask us any questions in a good faith effort to try to understand what's happening in our state. And that was a tremendous opportunity lost on their part, because their concerns are different than the Republican members' concerns. And if they had actually asked us questions about racism, immigration, all these things that they raised as issues, we would have had insights to share with them. But they chose to instead come in with pre-scripted narratives and act as though they have nothing to learn and they already know it all. And that says a lot about them. and it was very disappointing for us.
Can we do some behind the scenes stuff I find interesting? We got Dr. Oz on the program, by the way, folks. I didn't know Dr. Oz before that. Somebody did a Google search, radio stations found me and said, okay, I'll give him a clean shot. It was out of the dark. You're obviously on that committee, the fraud committee. How did you get contacted by the commission up there and say, oh, we got to get Hudson on? How did you get found?
Well, I didn't ask how they found me. I mean, I assume they just looked up the House Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Committee.
You get an email? You get an email
No,
through
I got
your
a phone call. I got a phone call from one of their high-level staff members on New Year's Eve of all days, suggesting that I had come out or asking if I'd be willing to come out, and of course the answer was yes.
All right, then you get there. This is the behind. I want to. So they fly you out. Is this on Hudson's dime? They say we'll set you up with. Did you have to throw money out to go do this for America?
Congress apparently cannot provide material support for witnesses coming out to testify, so I did have to make
that blows. What about a hotel? I was in Washington D.C. over the New Year's. I've never been. It's expensive. Did you have to put yourself up too?
Yeah, but I mean, it actually.
Hudson,
I mean,
this sucks.
I don't want to do an unpaid solicitation, but one of these, the travel websites actually get me a really good deal, very, very good deal. The hotel room was a little bizarre. It was stylish, but very, very small. It was like a closet. And what I learned, I told my wife this. I'm like, if I'm ever tragically left alone, I have now learned that I can live in a closet and be completely content. All I need is a bed and a place to put my laptop.
This isn't because you and I are friends, so you do this a lot. That sucks. If we can spend $3 trillion on who knows what all and the rest and the ripping off, I think we can put up people in the airplane. And if we ask you to come talk to us, that's crazy. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't know if it's $1,000 a plane ticket. That's nuts. Well, okay, I will talk to somebody because that isn't cool. Now let me ask you this: how did Fox? I mean, people are finding your cell number somewhere. I suppose if you're in the government, you can do it. But you were on Fox 2-3 times throughout the day. So you get on. Are they just Fox producers standing outside? Hudson, come here. I want to put you on. How did they all get a hold of you? And by the way, nicely done throughout all of them. There's one where you were like standing in a big place and it was really hard to hear you because of all the ambient noise. But you did a really nice job. How does that work? Tell us the inside.
Well, it's not that complicated. So the producers, all they have to do is get a hold of me through official channels, right? So they contact my office in St. Paul, and my legislative staff let me know that somebody's looking for time on the air, and I say yes or no, or when or where, and it's pretty simple.
Okay, well, yeah, but timing is everything. I mean, was most of that pre-recorded? The sound looked like you were doing it live. And my point being is, was it like 5 straight hours of testimony, and they didn't even break for a break? Are you told that? Do you not have a glass of water from the night before in the plane ride all the way there? I'd be like, time out, please. Sorry, I don't go 5 hours.
No, I mean, we knew it was likely to go as long as it did, and you just. You just grin and bear it, right? Like I had water, I brought snacks to
No way.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, it is what it is. Right. You just buckle down, and as far as the media hits, there were a lot of attempts to prearrange interviews around the hearing, which didn't work out well at all because you don't know how long it's going to go. But you end up you adjust, you shift. It's not that complicated. It's just logistics.
Can if people did not get to see what you did, have you and your people cut down at least your parts? Can we find it on the X? The X?
That is a project that I will be working on. As you stated, it's a 5-hour video, so that's going to take some time. But yes, there are definitely, if you track my X and you track my YouTube, I will definitely be offering commentary on what took place in D.C.
All right, I got to go to break. I have no doubt most people are going, you have Walter Hudson on. He was in front of Congress, and you were talking about how he got his appointments and his room reservations. I know this was probably not the most in-depth, cutting-edge interview, but we'll get him back next week if we find something else. That's what I thought about when you're there. And we have more to talk about. Tragedy here in Minnesota. What was it? Day after you talked in Congress. We'll talk about that coming up next with Representative Walter Hudson.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, We bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
I got him, Representative Walter Hudson, on the program. Spent the weekend trying to figure out how I want to talk about this week, as we're getting a bigger and more flowerful, a more all-around look at what actually happened on a Wednesday with the Miss Good. The 42-second video comes out from the shooter, the ICE agent's point of view. He's going around with his own camera. Here's my analysis quickly. 36 seconds of it is him walking around the car, taking video of the license plate, what's in the car, the wife of the gal who was shot, who was also out of the car taking video, I think for other reasons. I think this was going to be YouTube video, whatever. This is my analysis. I believe after 4 minutes of her car being parked kittywampus, they had decided they were going to move the car. He goes around to film this going to happen. The other two come out of their car, and with six seconds before the shot goes off, you hear the first officer coming out of the car yelling, "Get out of the car." He yells it 3 times, and by that time they're at the car. Guy with camera now is starting to move from where he was at filming to go, in my opinion, get the video of that. So now he's moving across the front of the car to view the altercation, the interaction. With 4 seconds ago before the shot, car gets put into reverse. Cop The first guy got his arm at the door. He's trying to get in the window. That's with 4 seconds ago. It goes backwards. It gets put into gear with 2 seconds ago. You hear a rev. You hear a tire spin just a scotch. It goes forward. That was with 2 seconds. This cop with a camera in one hand, who I believe was there to do nothing but film, had exactly 2 seconds to decide. I'm not glad this woman was shot. This is not my point. But we put people in horrible decision-making times. That's my analysis. I believe there wasn't a reason for her to have a car kitty wampus. She made a bad decision. Doesn't mean she gets shot. The idea of not getting out of the car when you're told, again, bad decision-making. I don't know if she should have got shot. But we asked these people, these law enforcement people, to stand in front of cars, to take videos, to be there in this situation, and 2 seconds to decide what you're going to do. That's my bust down. I wish you would never shot. This is Crazyville. Your thoughts?
Well, I have a slightly different analysis. So you say she made a bad decision. She made multiple bad decisions. Okay. Her first bad decision was to spend her time interfering with federal law enforcement, which is a crime under U.S. code. All right. Fair. She parked her vehicle perpendicular in order to create an illegal blockade for the purposes of preventing federal law enforcement from doing their job. Again, that is a crime. She became a criminal the moment she did that. Bad decision number two, when she's approached by federal law enforcement and they command her lawfully to get out of her car, what does she do? She fails to abide. And then, as you say, she puts it in reverse. Yep. Now, let me tell you, or let me ask you, what does that signal when you've been issued a lawful command to exit your vehicle and you put it into gear? Does that signal that you're about to cooperate? Does that signal that you're de-escalating? Because everybody talks about de-escalation, right? It's the responsibility of the officers to de-escalate. Well, what about the responsibility of the person who's being confronted by law enforcement in a legal manner? Do you have any responsibility to de-escalate? And if so, what would that look like? It probably wouldn't look like shoving it in reverse and then shoving it into drive and then trying to run over the federal law enforcement officer directly in front of your vehicle. And so I absolutely agree with your point that these are split-second decisions, but the person who put that officer in the position of having to make that split-second decision was Renee Good. End of story.
And I will not argue with everybody's. And I'm not arguing at all because I think you make actual salient points. I would like to talk about from that moment on. We haven't had the George Floyd situation yet, but we are seeing thousands of people getting together, some spitting, some throwing snowballs at cops and that sort of thing. If you believe the ICE agent was completely wrong, he's off the streets right now. He is now, being investigated. He's not there. The ones that are still out there had nothing to do with this themselves. I can't get myself to a point where I would throw something at a cop. I just can't get to that position. I'm upset that our governor and the mayor and some of other Senator Smith asking ICE to leave, get out of the state. As far as I can tell, 1,500 bad guys have been taken out. The one they were going after that day was literally a child pedophile that was convicted in the U.S. In Minneapolis, they weren't booting them out. So I want ICE in some form. Maybe you think they're doing it wrong, but how we're handling it since, your thoughts?
Listen, our immigration laws are on the books, and our laws mean nothing if they're not enforced. And this is why Trump won. This was his top issue. The top issue that propelled Trump over the top and attracted him votes from unconventional corners of the electorate was this issue. We need to close our borders. We need to deport criminal aliens, and we need to do it en masse. He's simply executing the political mandate that he was given by both the Electoral College and the popular vote. Not to mention the fact that election or no election, this is the law. Yep. And what I find abhorrent is the efforts of folks like Tim Walz and Jacob Fry and Ilhan Omar and the rest to draw some sort of false distinction between any given law enforcement officer and ICE. They are all in the same category. They are all enforcing the law, and they are all due the respect and cooperation of every single citizen of the United States and our local governments and state governments. And the complete, not just lack of cooperation, but hostility fomented and incited by these elected leaders is beyond the pale, completely unacceptable. And I believe they should each be, listen, in my perfect world, they're each dragged out of their offices, removed from office, prosecuted, and thrown in prison. This is criminal neglect of your governmental role. You are literally doing the opposite of what you were elected to do. You were elected to keep the peace, to keep order, to govern society, and instead you're using your platform to foment chaos. You should be pulled out of office and you should be in prison.
We're going to let it go with that. I'm out of time. Representative Walter Hudson, I probably wasn't as scathing an interview as I could have had at the first half. We'll do that next week. You be ready.
All right.
I love having you on the program. Thanks for coming, sir.
Thanks.
He's Representative Walter Hudson.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue